Hello everybody, my name is Bazane Moonshade and welcome to Warframe, made by Digital Extremes. It's a free-to-play MMORPG with third-person shooter elements in it. I've been playing it for quite some time. I can't remember exactly how much, but... well, actually, I guess I could find out, but... essentially, it's set in the same world that was built originally from...
a Warframe design that was thought lost. Have Ordis construct that blueprint. It could give us a clue to where the next memory is hidden.
Thank you, Lotus. I appreciate that. It was built in the same universe as one of their old games known as Dark Sector. There's like little tidbits that go in and out and all that, all the quests that kind of allude to that as it's passed. I won't get into all that. Essentially what I'm going to do is just go over kind of what the game is and show you a little bit of gameplay and kind of like go in and out, and if you guys like it I would love to keep going on with it, and I'll probably bring my friend Whiskey Wise in and have ourselves a couple like rolls through. But how long have I been playing? Let's see. Profile. 704 hours. Quite some time. Basically I've been like playing ever since it was fresh on the PlayStation console. It originally came out on PC a long time ago, which, if you are following Warframe at all, you know all of the changes it's about to go, or it's been through. A couple different movement systems and several weapons. Like, essentially, like the end game for this is really just weapon, Warframe, grinding, and getting progressively better. This is one of my Warframes. Valkyr Prime, and that's something I can go over as well. We have several different types of Warframes that come out. This is your ship, by the way, and it essentially is your basic hub for setting yourself up for any sort of mission you need to go into, anything you'd like to buy at the store, that sort of thing. Interesting stuff. But that's my cat, K-Vat. Pretty little girl. Meow. And she just walks around my ship. But, just as a sort of like overview, I have quite a few Warframes. Like, you have your standard Warframes that just come out. One of the starting Warframes is the Excalibur, one of three that you can get in the initial storyline. I believe the other two is Volt and Mag. It's been a long time. But you have your standard Warframes, then you have Prime variants of each one. There aren't Prime variants for every single Warframe, but quite a few at this point, and they keep bringing out new ones and taking out old ones so that they can increase on the drop tables, which I can go into probably in future videos if you want to go over some stuff on that and what have you. My favourite so far is Frost Prime, and that's not what he originally looks like. It's deluxe skin that I've been able to acquire, as well as the helmet was made by someone in the old Warframe community, because if you have it on computer you can actually go through and design items to look how you like, submit them to Digital Extremes, and if they passes some sort of test, I imagine, they approve it and put it into the store to buy. Which I'll go ahead and show you those now, and then we'll go over what we need to do for just weapon leveling and stuff like that, and I'll just go in and show you some gameplay, and then we'll be done for. But it's the store. Pretty simple. Breaks it down. Warframes, skins, helmets. Archwing is a different type of thing. It's basically for space flight, space battles. Interesting stuff. I don't know if they've got a good... are they just going to do that? Yeah, they are. Alright, well, I'll show you mine here in a little bit. Bloody hell. Armor sets, so stuff you would like put over your armor just to make your Warframe look slightly unique, as you can see right there. I put it on her chest if I wanted to put it there. There's also some for shoulders. Neat stuff. Things that I usually like have more to do with like the Sedana's stuff on the back. You can kind of see she's got this dual thing on. Little cape. And they might actually have that in there too. No. Oh, yeah they do. Here. So, little capes essentially. That's a hood. Those never actually go over her head though. But you've got your 10 out gen stuff, so this was all things created by users, you and I. Like, you can modify entire Warframes to look how you like. Let's see. What's a good example? We'll just use Ember as a good example. So that's Ember as done by... looks like someone, or two people. And then if you wanted to see Ember as her standard, well, she looks a lot more epic right there. Yeah. Standard store, you got your in-game currency, which is just credits or pay-to-play stuff, because Warframe is a free-to-play MMO, so they all obviously have microtransactions in it for you to actually go through, and if you want to spend money to get something without actually having to deal with acquiring it on your own, because most everything in the game you can acquire on your own without having to deal with spending your own money to actually pay to get it. But say you wanted to get some epic weapon that you just were not able to acquire on your own, because a lot of them are very difficult to build up the components to build. Like this fully automatic crossbow takes... oh, I can't. Of course that would happen. Where's one that is built here? Bolter? Ah! So the bolter is a fully automatic bolt launcher, so it launches like a bunch of bolts, and it's actually the original variant of one of my favourite weapons, the Bolter Prime. Right here it takes neurodes, out of place, salvage, and polymer bundles just to make the actual weapon. And sometimes the grind to get some of it is quite substantial, especially when you're dealing with some of the more rare components like... trying to remember what it is right now. Some form of crystal. Organ crystals. My god, that took me... I knew it was a crystal. I knew that. But essentially you have 3 weapons you can carry on your tail at all times, plus your Warframe's unique abilities. You have a primary weapon, a secondary weapon, and a melee weapon, all of which you carry on each particular mission you can go on. There are 3 different factions that you fight, well, I guess 4 now. Well, 4 was anyway. There's guys in the Void, which, for the life of me, I can't remember what they're called right now. Universe factions. The Orokin, or Rokin, I don't know how that's actually pronounced, but I would say Orokin is probably the best way you can say it. There's the Sentient, which is an additional one brought in through one of the main storylines that you can get through, but it's a later on stuff. Then there's the Infested, which look very much like the Flood, the Copus, and the Grenier. And they all each have their own weaknesses and strengths. And I'll go over some of them while we're actually playing, so that way you can kind of see it in motion. But let's go take a look at some other stuff. So anyway, here's Valkyr Prime, which is the Warframe I'm probably going to be using for this mission, because I'm trying to acquire specific components known as neurodes. It's a little bit rarer on the drop tables. And I pretty much have equipped what I want to take with me. I've got a fully automatic shotgun that's got the damage types displayed down there: puncture, impact, slash, and then a particular elemental damage, which I have added by the additions of the modifications that I put on the actual weapon. The Infested, which is the enemies I'm going to be going up against, are particularly weak against fire, gas, and slash, so it's kind of the weapons that I want to bring along with me. I have that is my sidearm, which is a sort of energy pistol that right now just pushes out gas damage. Good stuff. And then Incana Prime, which is a very, very nice slash weapon. Probably my strongest at the moment. I don't have the best modifications which come in the game so far because I have a tendency to play alone, and a lot of the harder ones are at much harder levels and I can only do so much by myself. So I might change up the way that I play here in a little while, but we'll see how we go. Yeah. But as you can see, each particular weapon has an inside that does... You basically add cards of abilities to each weapon and also your Warframe to make it better. Health, damage, damage types, elemental, better armor, better energy, overall power. Like for your Warframes, they have particular abilities you can use that make them just better at doing certain things, and this is one of how you actually do it. And each mod, as you can see down by the little blue icons at the bottom of each card, is upgradable to a certain extent, thereby making the particular weapon better. But, as there's also the caveat, it costs more to put it in the card. So you have different types of stuff you can do. See how we've got the green 6 right there with the... What one is that? Marudo? Madro? Madre? I can't say it right. It's a compatibility type that makes that actually cost less, because the card itself actually costs double what that's worth. So it's a 12-point card, but it is worth 6 since it's on. Overall, the capacity of this particular weapon is capable of holding 70, and I have 9 available left, so I can still upgrade it further on, but I just don't have the money for it because it takes actual currency to upgrade each particular weapon. And sometime in the future, if you guys would like me to go a little bit over what I actually do to lay this stuff out, I'll be happy to do it, but that'll take a long time, and I kind of want to breeze through this and have a good time about it. Alright. That's kind of the basics of what goes on with your setup and where you're going. You can also bring up out items with you. I'm bringing my Carrier Prime. It's something that basically picks up items for me, so I don't have to bother. I just kill people and run by them. Then you have a gear wheel of stuff you can bring in. I typically like to bring this cipher thing to make hacking a little bit easier if I'm in a pinch. And then an ammo drop, an energy drop, and a health drop just for fun, and then some scanning items. But we'll go ahead and jump on in. We're going to do an extermination mission on Eris, which is one of the planets. I'll give you a glance at the way that the map's set out, and then we'll just get on. Alright, and here's the map. Now, to get to each point of the particular planets, because it used to be that you couldn't actually see all of them until you actually found them by defeating bosses, but they changed the map several times in its development, and I like the way it's laid out now. Very convenient. You're able to find where you need to go. There's junctions to get with between each one. You don't necessarily need to go out and kill a boss, although sometimes that is the prerequisite for getting to certain places. But where we're going to be heading right now is Eris. And each particular planet has a bunch of nodes and directions that take you to certain places so that you can actually deal... You have to plan and go to each place, plus they're set up with levels, like this one is 32 to 36. It's a capture mission. It tells you the faction that you're going to be fighting. The mission that I plan on going to right now is this Saxis, an extermination for the infestations. You basically go through and you kill a lot of people, and that's the mission. Once you kill a certain amount, the mission's done. You can keep killing people, but there's not really much sense in it. You just kind of press on and get on your way. But a lot of what you're doing anyway for these missions is just a lot of rinse and repeat. You're leveling up weapons, leveling up warframes, trying to get to the next level, getting stuff in there. We'll go ahead and jump right in and have a time about it. Alright, so here we are set up in our mission. As you can see right now, I got one enemy at least coming my way.
And exterminate it.
Eat it. But third person over the shoulder, you're just killing people. Right now I'm not rushing through, I'm just kind of explaining how things are going. Each weapon has its own different load times and damage types and whatever you can do. You can switch between weapons, you can even just melee it all out, so that's the only weapon you have. You can even block oncoming bullets if you felt so inclined.
A lot of infestation activity.
But
clean it up.
I'm going to show you a little bit more of what you can do. You can even use your melee weapon with your main weapon or sidearm equipped. It just depends on whether or not you actually have the time to switch weapons in between. It's not quite quick like a first-person shooter would be, because you know how in a lot of them you'll switch to your pistol once you run out of main ammo. This is not that quick. So you're better on if you run out of ammo for your primary weapon slashing about so you can actually change to something more effective. Now, the movement in this game is very intuitive, and they've changed it a couple of times. It used to be that whenever you wanted to go to some place secret or you were trying to get a place around fast, you'd slide a lot because it's just quicker than actual like running. And that's still the case. If you're running or whatever, it's still a lot faster. But at that same point, you're actually dealing with a lot of problems of direction. Sometimes you're not heading in the way you want to go, and sliding isn't the easiest way to change direction, but you have different jump styles as well. It used to be you could only jump two ways, and then if you want to get to someplace high, you'd literally have to wall run. Well, now you can just propel yourself forward in a much, I think it's called a jet jump or something, I can't remember exactly, but they have to go through a tutorial so you understand how to use it. And that's a unique enemy. They're known as Eximus. Some of them drain energy, some of them drain life, just kind of depends. Also, each mission has a particular ability that you, or mission, I suppose, so that you can garner extra experience from doing it. This one is use my first ability 5 times, and I'll just go ahead and do it. Her first one is a rip line, so you basically hook somebody with an energy line and rip them towards you, or you can rip yourself towards them. Just depends. And I do apologize, I just realized that my audio was projecting on both sides, so there might be a slight echo at the beginning of this, but I'm going to try and fix it. Oh yeah, and that's something else new that they did. Now when you are aiming as you jump, it slows you down, so you have a better chance of actual hitting your target while you're in the air. I don't know if it works all that well. I use it sometimes, not for a lot, but enough. Now you just kind of skip up the wall. You used to have to run up like a ninja. See? Just completed an extra 1,000 affinity. You! Trying to get away with my talking. Another one of her abilities is to use War Cry, which essentially slows everyone else down and increases you and your party members up to actually deal faster melee attacks. Ugh, I still have almost 100 guys to kill. Where the hell is everybody?
Heavy infestation ahead.
That was a close one.
I will say, for a free-to-play game, it is absolutely visually wondrous. And the fact that they keep building on it, especially with this new DLC that's coming out, the Plains of Eldalone, I can't say that right either, damn it. I'm going to have to learn how to pronounce this stuff properly. But with that expansion coming out, there's going to be just so much more to the game than there was before. So, there's another ability which I pretty much prefer when I'm Valkyr, because it is her final ability, and it basically turns her into a berserker, and she gets healed by hurting other creatures. But she can only use melee attacks. Not that that matters. She goes little phantom claws and just looks all menacing. It's beautiful. But every time she hits someone, she gets healed. So the skill itself basically makes you invulnerable until you run out of energy, in which case then you just revert back to what you were doing before. Jesus. Alright then. There's like 4 fucking XMI in there. I realise that's a kind of redundant thing to say, because if you're saying XMI, it pretty much insinuates that you're facing off against multiple hard enemies. Fuck all. And I've not gotten 1 Neurode right now. That's irritating. I came to this level. Hi. It's the big thing with the infestation. They basically, their way of defeating you is a whole lot of enemies. A lot of them. Fuck you! Really? Are you still alive? You like. There is also a PvP mode known as Conclave that you can access through the relays, which is essentially the group areas in each one of the planets. I mean, not all of the planets have them. There's only like 4 left because they've been destroyed due to story missions.
The enemy is broken. Well done. Now get to extraction.
I might try that out. I actually have not as of yet, simply because it took me a long time to get to where I'm at. It's more over. I've been trying to get through all of the story and then press on to a lot of the endgame stuff, but I was doing it with another guy in my clan, and he actually got out a little while ago. And we never actually finished it, and he was busy, and I was busy, and just mismanaged stuff. The green icon lets me know my way out of the mission. I'm just gonna go ahead and do a little cursory glance around for some Neurodes. Right, I get it, you're not giving me any Neurodes. A single Neurode. But mission summary shows you how much XP went to whatever it is you were using. I didn't use the pistol at all, so they've got very, very little experience. And that's kind of, like I said, it's the end goal of this game. You basically are grinding weapons, grinding armor, grinding
that was thought lost.
your overall level, because your profile also has a level. It's a mastery. Right now I'm at 16. I don't think there's a cap, but I would have to go check on the wiki. The wiki has a lot of information on what you're trying to do and find for this game. But essentially, that's Warframe in a very, very small box. You go, you kill things, you come back, rinse, repeat, level up. And it is free to play. You can have a squad of about 4 members per team, and as you can see up there in my start menu, you don't have to have anybody. I usually do solo, friends only, so whenever I get my mates to come on and actually play with me, I usually kind of think, hey, Warframe, we're like fucking behind. But anyway, I'm going to leave this video here, and thank you for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and tap the like button, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.